Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick, and it is mock drafting time. It is Friday, the 9th of August, and we are going to do a PPR draft today. So we are on ESPN, and we are picking from the number one position. Oh, yes, the blessing and the curse of the first pick in the draft. We're going to try it out. We're going to see what kind of team we can build. And we're going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to help us pick players today. I'm telling you right now, friends, if you want to win your draft, you need this tool. It is absolutely going to help you on draft day to make the right decisions. It is a game changer as far as draft tools go. It's going to walk you through round by round, finding the best players at each and every round, finding the hidden value. You'll see how well it works today. So I invite you to go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. Right there. Go to my website. That is exclusively where you can access the app. It is a web-based app, so you can access it from any web-connected device on your browser. You will not find it in the App Store, so I get that question a lot. But when you get in, let's see here. Oh, the draft room is now open. Let's get that loaded. We're going to do a quick setup right now. So when you enter the app, it gives you a quick setup. And so it asks you three questions. How does your league score points? Well, we're going to choose 1 point PPR. Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? We are going to go ahead and say yes. And then, do you want to enter draft mode? So what this does is this will break down your list based on the size of your league and your draft position. So we're going to go 12-team league and pick number 1. We'll go ahead and enter draft mode so you can see the player list right here. These are position filters up here. So if you want to look at just quarterbacks or running backs or wide receivers, you can do that. And then you've got the you've got the draft mode rounds. So these are each round of the draft, and of course, because we're the first pick, all our next picks will come together in a pair. So we'll be looking at those groups together. Down below here, you've got some recommendations, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to minimize all the text so we can just see the names. And then down below here, you will see the players. All right. Now, if we go to the first round pick, what you can see here, now we've engaged filters, so not everybody's on here. But if we sort by expected draft position, you're going to see that we're going to see all the players from pick number 1 through pick number 26. So there's a little bit of overlap with the next round. You can see these little hands right here. These are reaches, and what this means is these are the players that are going to be long shots on the next round. Long shot is defined as a player that has less than a 50-50 chance of being available. It's signified with a gun, which you will see. You don't see it on this round because there's no long shots on the first overall pick. But instead of being sorted by the draft position, it's sorted by what I call the VORC score. Let's just jump back here real quick. 1 minute to go. The VORC score stands for value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. These are the 4 key stats that I look at when I'm evaluating players, and it's these 4 columns right here. Based on how they score on each of these columns, they get points. Those points are then added up. That gives you the VORC score, and if you hover over the number, you can see the breakdown as to how those players got to that point. All right. So you can see here that in fact, the top recommended player is Christian McCaffrey, and that is the guy I'm going to go with. Now, should Zeke sign his contract extension? I think Zeke would probably jump to the number 1 slot, but we are not going to gamble with our fantasy team. You only go on the knowledge that you have. Don't go on unknowns. That's one of my big things when I'm drafting. I want solidly healthy players. I want to know that they are a part of this offense. You know, there's all sorts of things I look at. Christian McCaffrey, outstanding level of volume on a great offense. I think they're going to be really, really good this year. Very excited about the Panthers. They will be our first pick. And so it has just started. And we will go ahead and we will take him. Thank you very much. It's just that easy. And so now let's go to the next round, the second and third round tabs. This is for pick 24 and 25. And what the app is recommending is the following players: George Kittle, the tight end; T.Y. Hilton, the wide receiver; Brandon Cooks, also a wide receiver. These are all fine choices. Now you can see the long shots up here. So Zach Ertz is a long shot. Keenan Allen, Dalvin Cook, these are all long shots. Like I said, that just means that there's less than a 50-50 shot that they'll be available. And what I like to say is if the long shot is rated higher than your targeted player, if they have a higher VORC score, so they'd be higher on the list here, and that player happens to make it, to that round, you should take that player. All right. Well, in this case, both Kittle and T.Y. Hilton score higher than Zach Ertz. I do like the idea of going with an elite wide receiver on an elite offense. T.Y. Hilton certainly qualifies. I guess the biggest risk right now is the issue that Andrew Luck is having with his calf. I think he's got a calf injury. So that is a risk there. But if we look at like Brandon Cooks, if we look at the value column, his value rank is 31. Given that we're at pick 24, 25, that's basically fair value, but he's a little bit overvalued, whereas T.Y. Hilton has a value rank of 22, and that's really what we want. So I like the idea of maybe going T.Y. Hilton, and we could go George Kittle, which I think would be a great choice to go with. Don't be afraid of taking one of the elite tight ends. It's a very thin position, and you can absolutely win by taking a tight end early. Last year, I took Travis Kelce with my 3rd overall pick, paid off big. I won that league, all right? So don't be afraid of that. We've got a long way to go until the next pick. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to queue up some players off this list. We'll come back. We'll see where we're at, and we'll see who we end up getting. I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. So one thing also that I wanted to do was I wanted to queue up some running backs, and so I used the position filter to look at the running backs, and I looked at there was Kerryon Johnson, Nick Chubb, and Marlon Mack. So I also queued them up. Nick Chubb did get selected early, but the other guys are still available. And let me tell you what, by the next round, the quality of the running backs thins out so considerably. I think it almost makes sense that let's go get ourselves 2 more running backs. So we go running back, running back, running back. Then we'll get a couple of wide receivers on the next round. T.Y. Hilton, George Kittle, Brandon Cooks, they are all still on the board. Obviously, we're going to lose a little bit of value there, but I love the upside of both these guys. I think they're both very good quality running backs for this season. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Kerryon Johnson, and I'm going to take Marlon Mack, and we're just going to see what this does to our team construction later on, all right? But one of the things I want to say is that the running back position is extremely thin right now, whereas the wide receiver pool is very deep, very wide, and you can still get good wide receivers as late as round 10. I'm seeing flex-worthy startable receivers in round 10 of most drafts. So don't kill yourself going all in early on a couple of, top end wide receivers because there's so much depth in the position. You will not hurt your team much by waiting. So we'll definitely get at least one wide receiver in the next round. There's one very good one that I definitely want to target. So now let's move to the 4th, 5th round, and you can see that it is recommending Tyler Boyd, and Tyler Boyd is the guy that I want. The reason is because look at his value rank. His value rank is 36th right now. He's going to be the main receiver on that field come the start of the season because A.J. Green is nursing that injury, will not be back for a few weeks at least into the regular season. Value rank is 36. We are at pick 48. So that's a full round of value. We're getting a 3rd round player in the 4th round. That's how you win your fantasy draft, man. You go for the value players. So Boyd is definitely on my list. You can see it's also recommending DJ Moore, who does not offer as good a value, but is still definitely fair value. Chris Godwin, also right here, a fair value player, long shot. We should put them all on the queue. As far as running backs go, we could still get someone like Phillip Lindsay, Kenyon Drake. These guys, again, little bit overvalued, but they're still very good. They're very good players for this point in the draft. Jarvis Landry, another wide receiver who I like. But we've got some good value plays to go on this next round. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to pause the video. I'll queue all these guys up. We'll come back. We'll see who we end up with. All right, so it's almost back to us, and you can see that Phillip Lindsay came off the board, which was a little bit early. Godwin got taken. He was a long shot anyway to make it to us. George Kittle somehow made it to the middle of the 4th round. That is crazy late, and that happens in every draft. There's going to be a couple of players where that happens to. It just astounds me. It's like, why? There's been no news about George Kittle today. There's nothing that would indicate why he would get ignored like that, but it just happens. People, all of a sudden they see that, oh, why is nobody taking this player? I guess I'm not going to take him either. And then it just continues, and he's available a round and a half later than he should. Of course, if he fell to me, I would totally take him at this point in the draft. But you can see, let's look at the top of the draft list here. So you got players like Alshon Jeffrey, Sony Michel, Patrick Mahomes, man. We want to go with the #1 quarterback here in the 4th, 5th round. Mark Ingram, Lamar Miller, these guys are good, but none of them really interest me. We've got DJ Moore, Kenyon Drake, Jarvis Landry here. Let's see. So we got to make some decisions here. And now I do already have Christian McCaffrey. So the idea of taking DJ Moore does not really interest me. But you know what? Alshon Jeffrey does score very well. Let's see here. Where is Alshon? Alshon's right here. So he scores a 40 on the Vork score, which is very good. Value rank of 43. So he's a positive player. Let's go ahead. We'll take Alshon with our 1 pick. And then I definitely want to get a PPR running back. Kenyon Drake definitely fits the bill. He had over 80 targets last year, over 70 targets last year. Let's go with that. He is our flex play. This is a depth play. I like the idea of sticking with that. So he is our 4th running back. So let's jump back. We're going to go to the 6th round now, the 6th and 7th round, and you can see that it is recommending Robbie Anderson, Larry Fitzgerald, Vance McDonald. We got great options here, and Vance McDonald is one of my favorite tight ends to target. He keeps moving up the draft board though, so he's getting more expensive, but totally worth the pick here. We should easily be able to get him on our next pick. I like the idea of Robbie and Larry. We can queue them up for sure. Let's look at what running backs are available this round. So we have Tevin Coleman and Darius Geis as long shots. Geis is an awesome value play if he somehow makes it to us, but it's very unlikely. He's usually going around pick 69 right now. We're at pick 72, so it's probably only going to be like maybe a 10 to 20% chance that he's even available. Jordan Howard does not offer great value, and you can see here now. Look at these running backs. We got a lot on the board here. None of them offer great value outside of Tevin Coleman and Darius Geis. And this is what I'm seeing in every draft. So that's why it's so critical that you stock up on running backs early. And then I'm getting Robbie Anderson in the 6th round is fantastic. He's a solid 2 with wide receiver 1 upside for sure. Larry Fitzgerald, I think he's a solid flex 2 play as well. So those are the kind of players you want to go to. And look at all these high numbers for value, for running backs. But if we go to wide receivers, still very good value. Look at how much lower the numbers are here for wide receivers. So again, just another reason you can wait on your running backs, you can wait on wide receivers, get your running backs first, make them a priority. So let's go ahead. We'll get some guys queued up. So Robbie, Larry, definitely. D.D. Westbrook, love him too. So we'll get him queued up. And tight ends, we'll get Vance queued up because I think he's a great option. And for running backs, I'm going to queue up Coleman and Geis because if either of them make it to the next round, they'd be a good pick. All right, so I'm going to just pause the video. I'll be right back. We'll see who we get. Okay, so it's almost back to us. And unfortunately, the 2 long shots did not make it. Both Geis and Coleman did get taken as pretty much expected. Again, we were taking a big chance that they would even be available, right? But you can see Anderson, Fitzgerald, McDonald, Westbrook, all still on the board, all still great choices. We will definitely take our 2nd wide receiver and we will take our tight end this round. So let's go with Robbie Anderson and let's go with Vance McDonald. Awesome. Okay, so this team is really filling out nicely right now. I'm very happy with how things are going. Let's go to the 8th, 9th round. And you can see that it is recommending for this round, Austin Hooper, the tight end. Well, if we had missed on Vance McDonald, Austin Hooper would be the next choice in line. But we don't need another tight end. Nyheim Hines, who is a PPR running back. So that could be a good choice. Dante Moncrief, there's a nice high upside wide receiver. Let's look at just the running backs right now. So the running backs, Nyheim Hines, and again, look at the value. The values just aren't that great. And so what we're going to look at is mostly high upside guys that, play behind a low reliability player, have a real chance to break out. There's a number that we're going to devote a lot of our late round picks for, but right now I think we need to go for depth. We can get some more wide receivers and we can start looking at quarterbacks. Let's see what quarterbacks are available in the 8th, 9th round. Well, Dak Prescott, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. I got to tell you, not really thrilled with any of those guys. If we look to the next round, though, you can see that there's Jared Goff, who's one of my favorite late-round picks. I do project him as a top 6 quarterback, so I think he would be a great choice. And we could even wait later than that if we wanted to go for someone like Phillip Rivers or Lamar Jackson or Kirk Cousins. These are all quality quarterbacks that do have QB1 upside, can produce every week. I mean, Phillip Rivers is on an elite offense. He's going to be productive. So all those guys are ones that I'm very much interested in. So we can totally wait on a quarterback right now. We certainly don't need to take one this round. I do like the idea of maybe going for one of these. Let's look at the running backs again. So we got Nyheim Hines, there's Peyton Barber, Royce Freeman, Matt Breida, Carlos Hyde, Darrell Henderson. If he made it to us, I'd totally take him. Let's see here. Latavius Murray he's not in a great situation there. Alvin Kamara is going to suck all the oxygen out of that offense. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think he's going to be able to do much. He's going to be like a subpar Mark Ingram. Ronald Jones, Jarrett McKinnon, not great choices. I do like the idea of maybe going for Henderson. We could also try for Freeman. We'll put Hines up there. And then for wide receivers, we got Moncrief is a great choice. MVS, look at that. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's there. That's a good one. Curtis Samuel, who is a long shot. So we got some long shots here. We're gonna try to get. Let me go ahead and set up our queue. I'll be right back as soon as it comes back to us. All right, so it's almost back to us, and check this out. Larry Fitzgerald still on the board. That is fantastic value. You got Moncrief, MVS, Curtis Samuel. All these guys made it. My long shots, unfortunately, did not. They all disappeared off the board before it got to us. But I certainly like the idea. Now, we have taken how many wide receivers now? Just 2. All right, so let's go with wide receivers here because we got some good ones. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Fitzgerald. And now, boy, a choice between Moncrief or Valdez-Scantling or Curtis Samuel. Given that Moncrief changed teams, and Valdez-Scantling plays with Aaron Rodgers, man, I got to go with the guy that's playing with Aaron Rodgers. So let's go ahead and take him as our 4th wide receiver. I think that's a great choice. And now let's look at getting a quarterback and someone else, right? So the next round, look, we got Terrell Williams, another fantastic choice for wide receiver. Look at his value rank, 89, and we're at pick 120. So that is a fantastic value, nearly 3 rounds of value that you have available here. And Terrell Williams, as far as I'm concerned, he's got Michael Crabtree upside because he's playing opposite Antonio Brown. I think there's a huge opportunity for him right now. He's a great person to target in the later rounds. Jared Goff, of course, one of my favorite quarterbacks to target at this point in the draft. Certainly the safest pick at this point in the draft for quarterbacks. Greg Olsen, the tight end, but we already have our tight end, so we're good there. If we look at running backs this round, look, we can get Kalen Ballage of Miami, Jalen Richard, Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, Kareem Hunt, Jarrett McKinnon. None of these guys really particularly bowl me over. I'm not really interested in any of them. So let's try to get Terrell and Goff. I think that's a great pair. I will just pause the video. We'll come back and we'll see if we get them. All right, so things are moving a little bit faster now towards the end, but you can see that Terrell Williams and Jared Goff still both on the board. Very happy to get both of those players. And then after that, we're going to have 3 bench slots left. So I think we're going to focus on high upside running backs to fill out the rest of this team because it's been a while since we've taken a running back. It's I think the last one we took was round 5. So you'll see there's some great ones that I love in the later rounds here. I definitely want to get them on your team. So as soon as Ramirez makes his pick, we can go in and we can take our guys. And you can see they're both right here. And so let's go ahead and we'll take Terrell. And then with the 11th round, we'll take Jared Goff. And that's just astounding, man. I mean, seriously, don't waste an early draft pick on a quarterback unless you're in a small league. In a small league, You want to go like a 10 team or smaller. You definitely want to go for the elite quarterback early because it gives you a positional advantage. But when you're talking 12 team and larger, you need depth. And so you need to wait as long as you possibly can on your quarterback. And even if we had missed on Goff, we still had Rivers. We still had, Jackson and Kirk Cousins on the next round. We could have totally gotten them. But let's jump now to the 12th and 13th round. And you can see that it's recommending Adam Humphries, Mohamed Sanu, Dion Lewis. None of those guys I'm particularly interested in. Dion, he just doesn't have enough upside for me. Let's look at all the running backs so you can see who else is here. Kareem Hunt, Mike Davis, C.J. Anderson, Giovanni Bernard. So C.J. Anderson, I think, is a good, prudent pick for us to take because of Kerryon Johnson. We got him, obviously, in the second round. He would be a backup and a handcuff. But also might have some standalone value. His value is not great right now by itself, but I think he's definitely worth the pickup for the safety of our team. As for our second one, there's not a lot of great choices here. Let's jump to the 14th, 15th round. And here's where the running backs are that I really like. So you got Damian Harris, first of all. I think he should be our second pick because he's great. Let's move down here. Devin Singletary, absolutely. Justice Hill, great choice. Jalen Samuels, Alexander Madison. These guys are all very good late round running backs that have the potential to be very big. Justice Hill's skill set, very similar to Alvin Kamara. He's on the Baltimore Ravens. David Singletary has been doing fantastic in camp and in the preseason right now for Buffalo, and I think he's going to easily supplant those two fossils they have as running backs in their backfield right now. Jalen Samuels back up to James Conner, but he's going to be utilized in the game, in regular game plan, as well as Connor. Alexander Madison, the backup to Dalvin Cook, a low reliability player. These are all great players. These are all players you should focus on. So we'll queue up CJ Anderson and all these other guys. I'm going to pause the video. We'll come back when we have our next pick. All right, so we are back. You can see that I've got all the players queued up here that we just talked about. Like I said, the safety valve pick, we're going to take C.J. Anderson just as an insurance policy. So he doesn't really have a lot of upside, but he is a safe pick. And Damian Harris, one of my favorite late round running backs to get. He's been doing very well at Patriots camp. And I think he's going to earn himself a substantial role this summer, especially if Sony Michel gets hurt, which I expect will happen. So we have one more position to take, one more bench slot. So we'll probably get Devin Singletary just because I really like what he's doing right now. But any of these guys are great. I think I'm very high on all these guys. They're all going to have an opportunity this year to do something substantial. I'm just going to pause the video. We'll come back after the draft is over. We'll review the team and we'll see what we think. All right, so we're done. So let's take a look at this team and let's review. So for our running backs, we've got Christian McCaffrey, Kerryon Johnson, Marlon Mack, Kenyon Drake, and then at the end, we went ahead and we got C.J. Anderson, Damian Harris, and Devin Singletary. That's a hell of a running back core. I'm very happy with that group. And I like the fact that we got C.J. Anderson as the backup to Kerryon because Kerryon is definitely the highest risk player that we took early in the draft. But Kerryon is he's going to be a beast this year, man. He's an impressive specimen, and he's very, very good. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Now, we obviously bypassed a wide receiver one, but our wide receiver core, very, very good. Alshon Jeffrey, Robbie Anderson, Larry Fitzgerald, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Terrell Williams. Those guys are all solid, startable players from week one. Okay, so we got 5 startable wide receivers. I don't know how many of these guys have wide receiver one upside. I think Anderson does and Jeffries does. But again, it's a solid group. It's a solid core. And we sacrificed going for the elite wide receiver. We didn't get someone like a Hilton. But I don't think that Jeffrey and Anderson are that much of a downgrade from Hilton, quite frankly. They're very comparable, I think, in their skill set. Our tight end is Vance McDonald. Our quarterback is Jared Goff. I actually ended up going with the Eagles for the defense. They got a great early season schedule. Mason Crosby as our kicker. So all in all, this is a great team. I love this for PPR. And also every single one of these, Christian McCaffrey and Kerryon Johnson, pass catchers. Kenyon Drake, pass catcher. Marlon Mack, not so much. But, I think he's still a solid play, especially since he's just our flex play, okay? But then, later on, these other running backs, I think they're all going to have a role this year to the success of your team. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope you saw the value. Please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com, to check out the app for yourself. I'm telling you, it's going to absolutely make a difference on draft day. You are going to draft yourself an amazing team here. It really helps with finding the right player at the right time and not waiting too long for a player and missing out on them, but also not taking them too early. It tells you when you need to reach. You can see that we just kind of played the draft and just let things fall to us as they would fall. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe below, and happy drafting, everybody.